In this episode of Stuff That We Don't Know, I'm joined by Shiya Scott, financial advisor, owner of Happy Monday virtual assistant, and co founder of the Next Level Collective to talk about money, investing, and protecting your future, especially as women navigating through it all. We're going to break down some of the biggest things people don't realize about investing and how
Mhm.
to think about life insurance beyond the typical conversation. If you've never felt like you needed to hear anything or you had to figure it out before you start building wealth, this conversation is for you. So, because this is the truth, we're going to build financial confidence and we don't have to know the answers because Shia is going to give them to us. So, thank you so much, Shia, for being on the podcast today.
Thank you, Shauna, for having me. I'm so excited to be here and talking with you today.
Yes, I'm super excited. I think that financial advising and money is one of the biggest topics that we need to talk about because there's so many like understanding and people are not aware or they don't know or they didn't teach you or
Mhm.
parents didn't teach you. So
Yes.
I'm very, very, very excited. So can you tell me
Yeah.
a little bit of like your background and
Mhm.
what got you into this industry?
Yeah. So actually, my first bug into finance was I took an accounting class in high school. And of course, it was like the most basic accounting, but I was like, I like this. Maybe I can pursue this. So I
Mhm.
ended up going to school for business administration and accounting. Emphasis on I went to school. I did not finish. So, but while I was in college, I got my first banking job as a teller. And it
Okay.
was at a local credit union back in Tallahassee called First Commerce Credit Union. When I tell you it was
Mhm.
like that has been my most favorite place to work ever. But that's where I got my first true, like, I got bit with the bug of working in
Mhm.
finance and actually putting all my knowledge to use. And then from there, I just continuously worked in banking. I went from being teller to relationship, like loan officer, relationship officer. I went to the credit card side of things, ended up going to Merrill Edge, working in more so the investment side. And
Nice.
then now I decided I want to have a deeper impact to my clients and to who I can touch and approach. So that's why I decided to go on the advising side.
I love that. So I'm very
Mhm.
familiar with the bank in Tallahassee, the First Commerce Bank. So
Yeah.
I was in Tallahassee as well, and we have very similar backgrounds because I was actually
Mhm.
in the banking space as well. And so
Okay.
you start to learn those things when you start
Mhm.
realizing and learning. I too took an accounting class. I actually wanted to do finance and accounting in college, and I took an
Mhm.
accounting class, and I said never again. Never again. Funny, I'm in somewhat of math now in the mortgage
Right.
space, but I was like, "Mm-mm, this is it.
It's
I'm not doing
funny.
it."
When they say God wastes nothing, because I'm not gonna lie, I got all the way up into the tax. Like, it was like I had 2 classes left and then life happened. I was
Mm,
like, "Okay, I guess that's it for me." But I have never not been in the finance space. Even when I said, "Okay, I'm done with the whole industry." Look, I'm
right
still
back
deep
at it.
into this career, right?
Right back at it. I understand, like, the perspective of money, but how growing through
Mhm.
the financial space and growing into the financial space, how has it shifted or, like, changed your perspective over time? How does that
Yeah.
how are you able to help that perspective help women?
Mhm. I would say each level that I worked in, so from teller to relationship manager, it gives you a different perspective and a different level of knowledge. Like, for
Mhm.
instance, when you're a teller, you're kind of seeing the day to day, like how people are spending their money in real time. Like, you see
Correct.
the same people on a day to day, week to week basis, so you kind of get familiar with their money habits.
Yep.
When I became a relationship banker, you kinda get the psychology behind why there's like, okay, this is how they're spending their money, but you can sit down and talk to them more about it. And then, of course, with
Mhm.
each level, it requires a different level of knowledge and education in order to fulfill that role.
For sure.
So just being able to enhance my knowledge, and also just being more so on the path of connecting with people. I think it helped me not more so of knowing more as far as the education base, but knowing more as far as like the psychological base and like being able to impact people. That's what changed the most was okay, how am I helping and impacting people?
With your woman to woman financial, how
Mhm.
does that relate to what you've learned through the years?
Yes. So because now I'm more on the advising side, I can now direct people more into having better habits. So, yeah, when you're in the relationship banking, you can do that to a certain extent, but for the most part, the person comes to you with this banking
Mhm,
problem that they want resolved. You resolve their problem and you give them some tidbits, of course, but you can't go as in depth as, okay, let's literally come through all of your finances. Let's either improve your habits or see where your gaps are and tell you, okay, this is where you can be doing better or where you can pull back. So
mhm,
because I have a more hands-on approach to shaping how someone spend their money or shaping the perspective they have with money is what I gained from all those different levels because again, being a teller, I was able to get used to the day-to-day purchases and the psychology behind them with the relationship management part. So it just kind of
yeah.
built upon each other.
Yeah, no, totally understand. So a lot of people feel like they need to have it all together before they start investing. What would you say to that?
Absolutely. I feel as though you can have all the money in the world and not have it all together. So I think that's a misconception. A lot of people think having it all together is having a lot of money.
Mm,
And majority of the time, people with the most money lack the most knowledge. So
come on.
I guess come on. So no, to me, it's the sooner you start, the better. I don't care where you are because if you have a plan, if you are nowhere near your goal, if you know what your goals are and you have an accountability partner and someone who knows, okay, what to do and how to allocate and maneuver your finances so that you can hit your goal, I would say the sooner the better. No
Okay.
one has it all together because
Mhm.
life has its ebbs and flows. So one day you can have
Yeah.
it all together, the next day it can all go
Yeah.
kaput. So I would just say
Yeah.
starting as soon as possible. And to me, if you start at your lowest, is when you can get to your highest quicker.
And what does the lowest look like for some people? Like where would the baseline be for someone that's wanting to understand about investing in wealth?
Honestly, I would say the baseline is just wanting to learn.
Mm,
But if we want to put more so a figure or a number on it, think about maybe someone living paycheck to paycheck and they don't know how to get out that hole. They either may be living paycheck to paycheck or have, let's say, so we call them Henrys, and that's high earning, not rich yet. So they may be
mm,
making high six figures, but still are broke and because they don't have a plan for their finances. It still feels like so they're working paycheck to paycheck. They may have a high debt number. So starting from the bottom or wherever that low bottom is, again, it's very subjective to the person and
yeah.
their situation. So it could be someone wants to get out the paycheck to paycheck. It could be someone that makes under $50,000 but still want to make their money work for them and start investing with what they have. So every situation is different.
Yeah. I can see that being like very nerve-wracking for a lot of people to just
Mhm.
try to get out of that cycle, but don't know really what to
Yeah.
do to get out of that cycle. And then thinking like, okay, well, I'm already living paycheck to paycheck. How can I
Mhm.
get out of
Mhm.
that? And like it could be very, very, very scary for some
Yeah.
people. And so
Mhm.
how do you how do you deal with that? Like as far as
Yeah.
somebody that comes in and
So
sees you.
another misconception with a lot of people that are living paycheck to paycheck, a lot of people think they have a spending problem when in reality they actually have an income problem.
Mm,
Majority of the time, we just need to focus on increasing our income, whether that is negotiating for a higher salary at work, maybe trying to find a side gig to earn some more income. But majority of the time, it's an income problem compared to a spending problem. So we always want to find what that source is. Let's say it is a spending problem. Okay, well,
mhm,
let's comb through your budget and see exactly what it is that you're having, what are you spending your money on? But w- I would say start small. I
yeah,
don't care if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you realize, okay, it may be a balance of one of like both. Like, okay, I definitely need to make more, but I can also be spending my money better. start small. Start just saving at least a small percentage of
Mhm.
your money. One thing that I do have one of my secrets is I have, like, little bank accounts that I keep pockets of money in. So, one may be a fun money, one may be, like, bill money, and something it may be one that's just like, "Okay, miscellaneous, I can do whatever." If my
Right.
fun money is gone or the miscellaneous money is gone, I can kinda just dip into one or the other, so just kinda have pockets of money, but I would just say always just start small, like, save something. It may
Yeah.
seem small, but $1 a day equals $365 at the end of the year,
That you didn't have
regardless.
before.
Exactly, and if you put it in the right account, it may have grown a little bit more.
Exactly. No, that's
Yeah.
great because you think about wealth and you think about investing, you think all these things, but you think grand, right? You think like, "Oh, I have to
Mhm.
put $500 or
Right.
$1,000 somewhere, this and that," but it sounds like it doesn't have to be that. It could
No.
be $10, it could be a dollar, it could be
Mhm.
whatever, just putting it somewhere is the most important thing, right?
Absolutely, like the saying goes, "How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time." So, pretty much how do you build a nest egg? 1 penny, $1 at a time, because you wanna be sure it's a comfortable amount of savings that you're not continuously dipping into it to cover your basic needs. So,
Yeah,
yeah, a lot of people have this grand idea of what savings or investing should be when as long as you're doing something small or at least progressing towards that goal, progress is like
yeah.
one step forward is better than no step at all.
100%. I love that because it's so true. When you talk about in the homeowner space, I just say save something,
Yeah.
like it doesn't have to be the whole 6% and 3%.
Mhm.
Like just put away something, and I
Yeah.
understand now in the world that we're in the economy that we're in, it's a little bit harder to save or to invest.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
if you, like you said, put a little bit away, a dollar or something, like
Absolutely.
when you wanna go get something to eat, fast food, instead put that money away towards something, it's kind
Absolutely, and even in that, I want people to have fun with their money. I don't want it to be restrictive. That's why I say make sure it's a comfortable amount so that you can still go and eat out. You can
Mhm,
still cover your basic needs without dipping into that savings. So make sure that's why you need to know where your money is going, but just make sure it's a comfortable amount that you don't necessarily have to keep dipping into. So it's always
yeah,
about finding that root problem.
100%. I love that. So from your experience, how are
Yeah.
women approaching wealth and investing different today compared to what you've seen in the past?
Yeah, so right now, women make up 45% of the entrepreneurs in the US. So
Wow.
that alone tells me we are going out and getting it. In the
Yeah,
past, women were more dependent on their husbands and their significant others to provide for them, to give them an allowance. And it was
mhm,
very much so not having control of their own finances or knowing what the financial picture was in the household to even have a say so. But
yeah,
we are now the breadwinners. We are now
mhm,
more focused on making sure we have a savings that we're investing now. We've been a little bit more riskier as opposed to not feeling comfortable in doing so because we for one we were restricted whether that was through societal norms or laws being placed against us from being able to do those things or again society putting that pressure on okay your husband has it lean on your
yeah,
husband so we're
yeah.
more in it now we're bigger risk takers too.
Wow, 45%.
And increasing.
That's crazy. Do you think that women I guess you said we're risk takers, but do you think we're a little bit more cautious or more strategic when it comes to money? I know that we're risk takers, but is it like
Mhm.
strategic risk takers or cautious risk takers?
Uh-huh. So one thing that I've noticed, women, we are emotional spenders. And I don't say that in a weak way, but
Yeah.
when it comes to us, like even with like trusting financial advisors or spending money, it has to one be an emotional connection and it has to be some level of trust there. Like we're not for the most part going off of popularity or what he say, she say. We want to make sure we have a connection to whatever that company is we're paying for or whoever we're giving our money to. So we
Mhm,
definitely do things on more so, okay, yes, doesn't make sense, but what is that emotional connection that we have
mhm,
toward purchase?
mhm. So when you talk about wealth and I think I wanna kinda clear up maybe some things because when we talk about
Mhm.
wealth Are we talking about just bank? Or are we talking about long term too? Like, are we talking about retirement, future, like,
Mhm.
or life? Like, what are we looking at when we say wealth as a whole?
Yeah. So again, that can, to me, I like to let my clients define what wealth means to them
Mm,
because wealth for someone may be, I want to retire and not work again, and I want to also still have an income coming in. Wealth for someone else may be, I want 100,000. I mean, I want $100 million and I want you to make my money grow into that. I think wealth equals financial freedom, to be
mm,
frank. You
yeah.
have the freedom to do whatever you want to do with your time. So not only financial freedom, but time freedom. So whether
Mhm.
that is not working so that you can start a new business or start a new hobby or owning your own company, calling the shots, but you have the financial freedom that you can still walk away if you want to, or if
Yeah.
you want to go and be a, what do you call it, a snowbird here in Florida and never work again. So I do believe that wealth encompasses just financial and time freedom for whatever that looks like for that particular client. And that's now, having that now and being able to have that up until you pass away, as well as letting it pass on to your family and your generations after you, having a legacy too. So wealth should, to me, wealth means now and as far as you want it to go. Past your lifetime.
Yeah. I love that. Um, One part I don't get a lot of in wealth is also too,
Mhm,
like, we talk about life, but when we think about insurance, so I know that's a part of what you do as well.
mhm.
So what is some, I guess, maybe one misconception about life insurance that many people may not know, if you can
I
think
would
of
say
one?
the biggest misconception is that it's a scam because a lot of people think, "Oh, I'm putting all this money in it and I can't touch it or I can't do anything with it." Well, 2 things. Depending on the product, there are living benefits to life insurance. So, there are life insurance products that accrue cash value that you can literally touch while you're alive.
Mhm.
You can use that money for medical expenses, for a down payment on your home, to pay for school. There's the options are endless. There's literally no limitations for what you can do with that money. And then also on the flip side, that is going to be money that gives your family peace of mind. So if you pass
Mm,
away, like there's been too many times I've seen people that I've gone to school with that passed away prematurely. And I have seen the GoFundMe. I have seen all of the posts about, okay, donate so that we can take care of the kids and things like that. Life
mhm.
insurance is a sure way for your family not to have to go through that, especially if you have the right amount on your life and on your family. That's one of the ways that you can set your family up for generational wealth. One of the easiest ways to set your family up for generational wealth.
So why do you feel like people put it off?
Because I do believe a lot of people don't want to think about death.
Mm,
And it's one of those things, it's like everyone thinks we have time. There's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. So until we take death, I guess, a little bit more seriously, and we think about the flip side of what our family we have to go through in the midst of us dying or after as a result of us dying, then I think it would it would be taken more seriously. But I feel as though because if you're not like terminally ill or you haven't had like a near death experience or had someone close to you die, you had to be the person to try to cover all their funeral expenses. I
mhm.
think death isn't being taken seriously enough.
Yeah. No, and it kinda reminds me of, like, when the saying goes, like, when you pay for your car insurance, but you don't use it until you need it. You pay for,
Exactly.
this insurance, but you don't use it until you need it
Hmm.
and things like that. So it just
Right.
seems like this is another one of those, put it in
Hmm.
place because you never know, like, you just never know,
Right,
what
but the beauty of life insurance, again, depending on the product, you can use it without, having had passed away. So that's it's even more beneficial than those 2 examples. And it also comes from lack of knowledge too. A lot
Yeah.
of people, they may go to life insurance agents that just want to get their money. They just want to close the product and they're not being told what's best for them, or they're not being sold the product that's actually suitable for them in their financial situation and what their goals are for their family or for themselves. It's also due to a lack of knowledge and and a lot of life insurance agents not being transparent also.
So when you have a company that offers these benefits
Mhm.
and they're not being explained, like, properly what they do or, like, what they offer. Are there any
Mhm,
suggestions or recommendations that you can give a person that's working, maybe not an entrepreneur, but a person that's
mhm,
actually working that may be giving in with their pay every week or every month to
mhm.
a life insurance with a company? Like, is there any, suggestions, recommendations? Because they don't
Yeah,
probably
so
don't know, right?
mhm.
So
I would say, honestly, so many of go to like one of the big company websites. So
okay,
whether that is like Northwestern Mutual or Woman to Woman Financial, so many of these websites actually have all that knowledge there.
oh,
And
good.
it honestly just takes someone being intentional about wanting to learn more. And then we're in the age of technology where the information is out there, but you also have to be mindful of the information that you're consuming. So I would
100%.
first say go to one of the more notable companies, like go to the Northwestern Mutual or Mass Mutual website, and there's a lot of information on those. And then there's a wealth of financial professionals around that will be that don't mind giving you the information. But I think in order for you to make sure you're getting good information and it's not just someone trying to sell you something,
Mhm.
start first at one of those notable websites because they'll have the information there.
So, what is something that you believe about money that you didn't earlier in your career? Like, what's
Mhm.
something now that you believe that you just didn't? Like, the young college in
Yes.
Tallahassee person didn't know.
I would say the biggest thing is knowing that money is a tool and you have control of your money. You're supposed to, or I'm supposed to be telling my money what to do, not the other way around. You
Yeah.
literally have all the control of your money. You should not be bound by the dollar. Like you and every dollar should have a job.
Mhm.
And whether
Mhm.
that job is to make sure you're having fun, whether that job is make sure you go on vacation or make sure this bill is paid, you need to assign every single dollar a job. That way you know where your money is going, how it's being spent, and you are also being intentional about having fun with your money. So I would say the biggest lesson would be assigning every dollar a job and not leaving like not even $1 being jobless. No, that dollar need to go somewhere too.
You
Earn
are
is cheap.
speaking to me. You are speaking to me right now. I am learning because I'm like, I just want to keep it here and let it be great. But
But look,
I
but
guess
that's also a job though. Sitting and earning interest is a job, but it needs to have it needs to have some place that is doing something.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
Mhm.
So like a high yield account or something
Yeah,
of the
high
sort.
yield savings
Okay.
account, whether a retirement account or just a bank account that is an expense account for you so that you're paying bills. So whatever that looks like for you, just making sure and that kind of goes down to budgeting. Like your categories. This is you have $100. You want to make sure all that full 100 is going inside one category. At least all these categories equal 100 at the end of the day.
Yeah, the big
Mhm.
word that nobody really wants to hear, especially in the home buying process. Like, I'm like, "What's your budget and how much do you wanna
Yes.
pay?" And they're like, "Budget?" Type of
Right.
thing. Like, we
Nothing.
don't like that word.
Mhm.
They wanna
And that's
spend whatever
because
they wanna
people
spend.
yes, and people think budget is restrictive. And no, you people should think, or I would like people to think of a budget as freedom. It's like
Mhm.
you're literally just knowing, you're literally just telling your money what to do. You're not restricting yourself because you're telling the money where it's going.
Where it's
So that
going.
goes back to saying you have control of the money. You tell your money what to do, not the other way around. And you give your money the jobs. So when you think of it that way, it frees up like, okay, this budget is just me telling my money what to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all I got because, I see it a lot. I just see
Mhm.
a lot
Me
of
too, girl.
people and whatever their money runs them and they don't run the money. So I think that's so
Mhm.
great to hear. So to wrap things up, what do you
Mhm.
want women to know about money and how you
Mhm.
can help them achieve their goals?
Yeah. So I want women this is more of a habit answer. I want women to have a plan, not
Mm,
going back to knowing what their money is doing. I think all women should have some type of account, some type of plan on their money. They should know exactly what their household income consists of. They need to have some type of control or some type of nest egg. And I say this not specifically to married women or just women in general, but also those that aspire to be married. Oftentimes, you don't divorce the person you marry. And 80% of men die married while 80% of women die single, whether that is
Mhm.
they have outlived their husband or it end up in divorce. But divorce ends up hurting women more financially than the man because they have not prepared for it. They went back, like going back to the olden days, they're more dependent on their husband. So my biggest advice would be have a plan, have a nest egg, have some type of account that you have total control over and you know exactly what's going on in your household or in this account because you just never know. It's always best to have something for yourself.
Absolutely. And how can you
Mhm.
help women achieve that
Yeah,
goal?
so the services that I offer, I assist with budgeting, financial planning. We make sure that we do assets under management. So if you have retirement accounts, but you don't really see it growing, or you don't understand the products or what your portfolio is investing in, I'm able to manage your investment portfolio to help you better understand where your money is going and to reallocate it so that it's working hard for you, and just being a financial accountability partner. If it's, hey, I need better help with budgeting, I'm your girl. Oh, I want to see my money grow, I'm your girl. If I want to retire by the age of 55,
Come
let's
on.
set you up with a plan. I'm your girl. So yeah, just I am. You know how they say finance bro. I am the
Finance.
finance girl,
Okay.
girly.
I love that. And how can they find you, like, to get in contact with you?
Mhm. You can find me at our website, woman2womanfinancial.com. I'm on Instagram, a happy Shia, and I'm on LinkedIn, Shia Scott.
Okay. Awesome.
Mhm.
And I'll actually have the information link down below as well, so you can get in contact
Okay.
with Shia so we can figure out a budget for you. We like the word budget because it means
Me too.
freedom. And
Yes.
we want you to, take care of your money, not your money manage you. So I love that. And thank you so much for being on
Thank
the podcast,
you.
teaching us
This was
about things
fun.
that we don't know.
Yeah, I love what you're doing.
I super appreciate you being here. And I hope that more women get in touch with you so they can understand more about their finances. Because once you understand about your finances, that only sets you
Mhm.
up for bigger things like buying a house.
Absolutely.
So let's get there.
Mhm.
And I appreciate you.
Also, thank you for having me, and this was fun. So I can't wait to see you continue to do great things.
Thank you.